Take my dog.
Also, just texting me. Oh. Monica, also just texting me.
Oh. No, we're live.
You're right.
Yeah. Hey everyone, we're gonna get started in like 5 minutes. So. So host is not doing it. Okay. 4 minutes. So we're gonna get started sitting on the floor. If you want to start getting set up, you can grab some props today. Alexis likes to use blocks because she's a little bit tighter in the hamstrings. And it'll come in handy for some other postures. And if you want, you can also use a bolster for the start of the class where we're sitting on the floor. If you have tight hamstrings, tight hips, or tight lower back, it's useful to elevate the hips in this when we're seated on the floor. So you can grab a bolster or a cushion or a pillow, anything like that you have lying around the house will do. We will get started in a short moment. Here, you can stay there. Benji. Just give everybody else a moment to sign on and get ready. She says it's too early. I think it's too late. Maybe for Sunday, it's just perfect. Not too early, not too late. You have to sit there if you don't want to. Maybe I can just. All right, so if you're just signing on, we still got a couple minutes, but you can start getting comfortable, finding a comfortable seated position. I was saying earlier, if you have some props, they might come in handy throughout the class. We have a block. If you don't have any blocks in your house, then you could use like a thick, stable anything, like a book or box of puzzles. We have a ton of those around here these days. Board games, box of board games. I don't know about you guys, but we've been playing a lot of board games. And also for another prop, we have some bolsters. We're not using a bolster because she doesn't mind sitting directly on the floor, neither do I. But we're going to start with the class sitting directly on the floor. So if that's comfortable for some period of time, just like 5 minutes, then you can elevate your hips onto a bolster or a pillow or a cushion. Anything you have like that lying around the house will be perfect. That helps to elevate the hips, especially if you have tight hips or a tight lower back. Elevating the hips when you're sitting on the floor is really useful, especially if you're not used to sitting on the floor. Okay. Let me see, I can't see the time from here. Okay, so start finding your comfortable seated position. We're almost ready to get started. My name is Monica. I'm a yoga teacher and yoga practitioner, and this is Alexis. She's my sister, and she's going to be our model for today. So Alexis is a beginner, so it's really useful to have her as feedback here since I don't have you guys as direct feedback. So if you have any questions throughout the class, let me know and say them because I'm sure somebody else will have the same question. Yeah? Okay. She likes to stay quiet. So feel free to be like, what are you talking about? I have no idea what you're saying, because that's helpful for anybody else out there that might have the same question. All right, so whenever you're ready, you can find a comfortable seated position. And like I mentioned, you can elevate your hips onto a bolster or onto a cushion if this position is really uncomfortable, especially if it's difficult for you to find your sit bones. So your sit bones are those two bony bones at the bottom of your pelvis. So it's that part that should be touching the floor. So it's difficult for you to find your sit bones directly on top of the floor. So maybe the sit bones are rolling forward a little bit, which means you're slouching. Then sit on something. That helps to tilt the pelvis so that you have a straight spine. So a good indicator is if you're slouching and you can't get your spine straight because you feel some constriction, then just elevate your hips onto even block. Anything that will lift your hips up higher than the floor. Okay. So once you find your comfortable seated position, and even if your legs, if you have knee problems, then you can always straighten your legs. A lot of options here. And then, of course, you can always sit on a chair. So find something that's comfortable for you and that will allow you to keep a straight spine for the next 5 minutes or so. Okay, and you can bring your hands to your knees. And if it feels comfortable, close the eyes. And we'll just start really simply shifting our focus, shifting our focus internally. So you're going from whatever you're doing before, you're paying attention to things outside yourself, things that are happening, things that you're doing. Now we're going to shift it for the next hour. So take a moment to recognize that shift and bring your attention to the breath moving in and out through the nostrils. So actually feeling the inhales and the exhales, touching the insides of the nostrils as the breath moves in and out. So with the mind's eye, following the breath, and also sensing the breath with the body, with the inner nostrils, sensing the touch of the breath as it moves in and out through the nostrils, without changing the pace or the breath. Letting the breath be natural, allow it to spontaneously move in and out through the nostrils as you observe this process. So we're bringing our attention, our conscious attention, to a process that usually happens automatically. It always happens automatically. And now we're just bringing our attention to that process and observing it. Observing the feeling of the breath as it makes contact with the body, the pace of the breath, some of the more subtle qualities of the breath. If it's short or long, maybe the temperature of the breath. On the inhales, it tends to be a little bit cooler, and the exhales a little bit warmer. Just observing that. Bringing your attention to the sit bones, those two bony bones, the bottom of the hips, the pelvis. Feel that point where the sit bones are making contact. You're right on top of the sit bones. So if you feel like the sit bones are moving forward a little bit and that's causing you to round the back, find that tilt in the pelvis as much as your body will allow it, to find a straight spine so the shoulders come directly over the hips. Allow the weight of the body to move down through the sit bones. So feel that sense of grounding as the weight comes down through the sit bones and you have that contact with the body and the ground. Just feel that sense of grounding. And moving your attention up towards through the spine, all the way up to the crown of the head, as you continue coming back down to your foundation. So even though you're lifting and lengthening, you're still connected to that foundation. As it moves down into the ground, Relaxing the shoulders. Allow gravity to bring the shoulders down. And softening the muscles in your face, the jaw, the temples, the eyelids, the eyebrows, and the space between the eyebrows. Coming back into the natural breath. Now we'll start to shift into a more controlled breath, a breath that's more useful for our asana practice, which is our practice of the postures, the physical practice of yoga, and the energetic practice of yoga, and then into all other realms of yoga. But so when we're doing movements and we're doing postures, it's useful to have a long and steady breath. So we're going to gently start to move into that type of breathing. So keeping your attention on the breath, slowly start to lengthen and deepen the breath. So you're going to start making the breath more forceful and more active. So you're forcefully and bringing the breath in and out, and you're slowing it down. So control how much breath you let in at one time and how much breath you let out at one time. Slowing it down and deepening the breath. Seeing how long you can get the inhales and the exhales. Just observing this for now, kind of coming to the outer edges of your lung capacity. You might start to hear sounds for the breath as a result of that forceful inhale and exhale. And you don't want to take it in all at once. So you don't want it to be, you want to control how slowly you let it in and how slowly you let it out. So and exhale. And for now, just going at your own pace. Slowly bringing the breath in and slowly letting the breath out. And see if you can start to bring the breath in through somewhere in the torso, like somewhere in the rib cage. That's what's drawing the breath in. Instead of using the force of the nostrils to pull the breath in and out, allow the breath to come from somewhere deeper, somewhere in the throat, somewhere in the lungs. We can get more specific with these techniques, but I kind of want to keep it a little bit general for now. So exploring that, like where is your inhale being initiated from? Take it deeper than the nostrils. The nostrils aren't what's forcing the breath in. It's something deeper. So maybe something like it's a vacuum in the rib cage that's pulling the breath in. And then the nostril just acts as a passive passageway for the breath to move in and out through. Seeing if you can lengthen the breath with each inhale and each exhale. We're going to take 5 breaths together. So wherever you are, exhale, completely empty the lungs. And then we'll inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, pulling the breath in, expanding the rib cage. Exhale, contracting the rib cage and completely emptying the lungs. Again, inhale, pulling the breath in all the way down to the pelvis, deep into the pelvis, and then filling up to the clavicle bones. Exhale, releasing the breath from the top, from the chest, and then pulling the lower belly in to squeeze all of the breath out. 2 more. Inhale, deep, slow breath in. Exhale. One more. Inhale. And exhale. And gently open the eyes. Good. So the breath is a really important aspect of our asana practice, which is our postures, the practice of our postures, in connecting the movement to the length of the breath. So we always want to have a long, steady breath so that we insert the movement into the long, steady breath, and the long, steady breath can be as long and steady as the movement. Okay. It takes a long time to build up, I'm sure you've noticed, and especially when we start with the Surya Namaskar A's and we're moving through that sequence. It's hard to have that breath that's long enough to match the entire length of the movement. So that takes time. It takes practice to kind of build that lung capacity, but also to build the endurance to be able to maintain that breath. So for now, just take extra breaths wherever you need to as you start building that capacity. And that's totally fine. You take extra breaths. It doesn't matter if your breath isn't as long as someone who's been practicing for years. I think what matters more is that you're consciously inserting the breath in certain parts of the movement. So you know, okay, now I'm inhaling and now I'm exhaling. So you're moving away from this reactive breathing into this conscious breathing. Yeah, that's the main objective. The main objective isn't to have a super long breath. That happens as a result of practice for many years, but that's not the purpose. The purpose is to consciously breathe in certain parts of our movements. Okay, so let's start doing that. Come to the top of the mat. So standing position. And if you have any more questions about the breath and about how to establish the proper breathing for asana, you can always ask me outside of this class, anytime that's convenient for you. But for now, we'll start in Samasthiti, so you're at the top of the mat and your feet are together. So this is like our neutral position in yoga, especially with our standing postures. It's the posture from which all of our other postures are born from. So establishing a foundation here that's intentional and that's strong is really important. And it's really useful so that we start establishing the patterns that are going to carry us through the rest of our standing postures. So take a moment here. You can be looking forward. You can either be gazing down towards the nose, so down towards that line of the nose. And gentle, so don't like force your eyeballs to that space. Just gently resting the eyes at the tip of the nose. This helps to concentrate the mind, to focus the mind on a single point so that we're not distracted by all the things that are happening around us. We can rest our external vision in one spot so that we can focus inside and just check in what's going on inside our bodies. Okay, once you have your drishti point, that's a drishti point, that's what we call it, gazing point. Once you have that established, bring the mind's attention to the bottom of the feet. Your hands can be out to the side. And feel the bottom of the feet as they touch the mat and as the weight of the body moves down through the feet. Again, tuning into this sense of grounding of your foundation. You're going to evenly press down through the 3 points in each foot. The base of the big toe, the base of the pinky toe, and down through the center of the heel, pressing down evenly through those 3 points in each foot. And then engaging through the legs, so you're going to lift through the kneecaps. Pull the lower belly, and notice as you pull the lower belly in, it kind of helps to lengthen the rest of the spine. And also as you pull the lower belly in, the tailbone, it kind of encourages the tailbone to tuck under. So the tailbone tucking under, same thing as the sit bones moving down towards the floor. So your sit bones are moving down towards the floor as the pelvis tilts forward a little bit. So this is a lot of anatomy, so if you're kind of confused, it's totally fine. Imagine like the lower back is lengthening to push the sit bones down towards the floor. Pull the lower belly in. Keep lengthening through the rest of the spine, reaching up through the crown of the head. And again, relaxing the shoulders down the back. So you have a strong, stable stance. Your legs are strong, your spine is straight, you're holding up your spine straight, but at the same time, you're relaxed. So finding that balance of effort and ease, if we start to establish these patterns and these mental spaces now, it becomes easier in the more difficult postures. So finding that perfect balance of effort, of strength and stability, and also of relaxation. So you're not strained, but you're here intentionally, you're consciously here. Your mind is present. That's part of the effort, to focus our mind. That's part of the effort. Okay, we'll start moving soon, I promise. Actually, right now. Surya Namaskar A with Sun Salutation A. So finding your breath, completely exhaling the breath from the lungs. You're going to inhale, bring the arms over your head as you keep pressing down through the feet. Palms touch and gaze up towards the palms. We're going to take this first one really, really slow. Step by step. Exhale, bring the hands back down to the side. Okay, so you kind of hit the wall, so I'm going to have you move back a little bit. You don't want to hit walls or paintings. Okay, so now we're going to lift the arms again, but this time being conscious of how the arms are lifting over the head. We want to come into a shoulder external rotation. So that means the palms are facing up. So this is external rotation and this is internal rotation. To lift the arms over your head, we want to externally rotate so the palms are going to face up with the pinkies coming towards each other. So again, inhale, palms facing up, reaching the arms over your head, and then the elbows come towards each other. Try to straighten the arms as much as you can, gazing up towards the thumbs. Exhale to Samasthiti, hands back to the side. If you have really tight shoulders, it's going to be hard to bring your arms directly over your head with the arms straight. So as close as you can get there, as long as your elbows are coming towards each other and you're straightening them as much as you can, even if it's here. Totally fine. Do that over and over again and slowly you'll start to find more space. Okay, let's go into the second movement. Inhale, arms over your head as you press down through the feet, elbows towards each other, gazing up. Exhale, fold forward, hands to the mat. Good, relax the neck. So here if you need to bend the knees to touch the floor, bend the knees as much as you need to. Let's come into the third position into half lift. Fingertips touching the floor and reach the chest forward. So you come into as flat back, as flat as you can as possible. If you have really tight hamstrings, bend the knees as much as you need to. Good, pull the lower belly in, find your breath. And then on your exhale, you're gonna fold forward again. Palms touching, so bring your hands to the floor and relax the neck. Good. Inhale, come back up to standing. Arms over your head, palms touch, gazing up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Good. One thing to know on the way up and on the way down. You want to try to find a straight spine for as long of that process as possible. So when you're folding forward, you want the spine to be straight for as long as you can, but then you'll reach a limit in the hamstrings, and then you can bend the knees and start to round the spine to bring the hands down. And the same thing on the way up. Bend the knees to start for the starting process of coming up, but then as soon as you can, you straighten the legs and you flatten the back to come up. Okay, let's do that again, and then we'll add the fourth posture while we're there. Inhale, arms over your head, palms touch, gazing up, press down through the feet as you reach up. Exhale, as you fold forward, straight spine, and then when you need to, you round the spine, relax the neck. Inhale into half lift. Reach the chest forward. Remember, bend the knees as much as you need to. Lengthen through the spine. Fourth posture. Exhale, bend the knees a lot so that the palms come flat. Look forward. Good. And now when the palms are flat, step back into a plank. Find your plank. You want the shoulders directly over the wrist. And you want a straight line from the head all the way down to the heels. Lower the knees if you need to, without changing the torso. Look forward. Good. So you're in this really awesome position where your legs are kind of in a diagonal. Your shoulders are over the wrists, gazing forward a little bit. And now I want you to engage through your core. Pull the lower belly in, and that's going to engage your core. Yeah? It's not this like pushing out of your abdominal muscles. It's a pulling in of the lower belly, and that helps to strengthen the core and strengthen this whole structure for the way down. We're going to need that. We're going to need that extra support so that all of the weight doesn't come into our shoulders. Take breath in. And on your exhale, you're going to lower down. Bend the elbows and keep the elbows close to the ribs. Good. So nice. And now we're going to come into the next posture, since we're here, and just into a half lift. So this is going to be the upward facing dog position. So we start coming into the back bending postures. We're just going to do a halfway this one for this time. Inhale, just lift the hip, lift the chest, and keep pressing down to the tops of the feet. And then exhale, lower the chest. Okay, we're going to do that one more time, and I'm going to fix her a little bit. Move the hands back a little bit. Yeah, so you have more of a, your elbows are over your wrist. Good, and then you're gonna move the shoulders away from the ears. Good, so don't let the shoulders droop down towards the floor. The shoulders wanna be pointing forwards, yeah? And you're gonna squeeze the elbows in towards the ribs. It's good, so you're working already. This is a really active posture. And now, you're gonna press down to the tops of the feet, engage through the legs, so the kneecaps might lift a little bit, and pull the lower belly in. Again, find that strength in the core. Now we're gonna do it again. Exhale completely, elbows in. Inhale, lift the chest, shoulders down the back, and then exhale, come down. Okay, we're gonna do it one more time, and this time we're gonna hold it for 3 breaths when we come up, okay? So prepare your foundation, press down through the tops of the feet, lift the kneecaps, engage through the legs, pull the lower belly in, shoulders pointing forward, elbows in, exhale, completely emptying the lungs. Inhale, lift the chest, keep pressing down to the tops of the feet. 2, find your breath. 3, exhale, come down. Good, how's that? Tiring, okay. Now we're gonna keep moving. Press into the hands and push back into a tabletop position so your hips lift up, and you're gonna come into a downward facing dog position. So tuck the toes and reach the hips up so you're in an upside down V shape. And find your breath, 5 breaths here. 1, the knees can be lifted if they need to, but you're sending the energy down to the heels. The heels are reaching down towards the floor. Good, find your breath. Deep, long, steady breaths like we established in the beginning of the class. 4, pressing into the palms, spreading the fingers nice and wide. 1 more breath. 5, inhale, start to walk the feet towards your hands, and you want to get your feet as close as you can in between the hands, coming back into that half lift position. If you don't, walk all the way up to the hands, and you can walk the hands back to the feet. And we'll meet in the half lift. Knees can be bent, lengthening through the spine, pulling the lower belly in. Exhale, fold over the legs, relax the neck. Inhale, come up to stand, bending the knees at the beginning if you need to, finding that straight spine, arms over your head, palms touch. Exhale, Samasthiti. So good. Okay, we're gonna do it again, and we'll move through it a little bit quicker, okay? Exhale, completely empty the lungs. Inhale, arms over your head, palms touch. Remember, moving with the breath. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale into half lift, lengthening, chest forward, shoulders back. Exhale, bend the knees so the palms are flat, and find your plank position. Strong plank, strong legs, pull the lower belly in, shoulders over your wrist. Inhale, lower the knees down to the floor. Remember, the shoulders are pointing forward, the elbows in. Deep breath in, pull the lower belly in. Exhale, slowly lower down. Good, so the slower you go, the more resistance you're adding, and the more you're stressing the muscles in a healthy way to build strength. Okay, find your position on the floor. Your body's on the floor, you're supported by the floor. Shoulders forward, elbows in, tops of the feet pressing down into the mat so the kneecaps lift and the quads engaged. Exhale, completely empty the lungs. Inhale, lift up halfway. If you want, you can go all the way up into upward facing dog or just stay in this half position. Exhale, pressing back into the tabletop. Tucking the toes and reaching the hips up towards the ceiling. 5 breaths. 1. Spreading the fingers wide and pressing down through the base of the pointer finger. This is going to help to find the right alignment in the shoulders. So that energy you're pressing down through the base of the pointer finger is going to trickle all the way up the arm and encourage that external rotation in the shoulders. You want the shoulders to be moving away from the ears, pressing down through the base of the pointer finger. 4, and you're relaxing the neck. The gazing point in this posture is the top of the legs or the navel. Sometimes the navel is too much for the neck to gaze towards, so the thighs are fine. 5, inhale, walk the feet up to the top, into the half lift position, lengthening, bend the knees here if you need to, pull the lower belly in. Exhale, fold forward, rounding the spine, relaxing the spine, the neck, hands on the floor actively. Inhale, arms over your head. Find that straight spine to come to arms over your head. Exhale, Samasthiti. Good. Okay, let's do one more like that. Inhale, arms over your head, palms touch. We'll move a little bit quicker in this one. Exhale, fold forward, relax the neck. Inhale, half lift, fingertips touching. Exhale, find your plank, strong plank. Inhale, lower the knees. Exhale, slowly bend the elbows. So good. Inhale, halfway up, or all the way up to upper facing dog, strong legs. Good. So let's stay in upper facing dog. If you're here, press the shoulders down, lift the chest, exhale into downward facing dog, move through tabletop, or you can go straight into downward facing dog. That's a little bit more of an advanced transition. I can break that down in another class. One, and then find your breath. Checking with your hands, spreading the fingers wide, pressing down through the base of the pointer finger to externally rotate through the shoulders. So that same position in the shoulders when we were doing the inhale, arms over your head. Shoulders away from the ears, lengthening through the back of the neck to gaze up towards the thighs. Pull the lower belly in. And take one more deep breath. Inhale through the nose. And slowly exhale through the nose. Inhale as you walk the feet forward into the half lift position. Exhale, fold forward, relax the neck. Inhale, arms over your head, palms touch, gazing up towards the thumbs. Exhale to Samasthiti. Okay, we're gonna do Surya Namaskar B, same thing, we're gonna add a couple postures. Inhale to chair pose. Bend the knees, lift the chest, palms touch, squeeze the knees together, gazing up towards the thumbs. Exhale, fold forward. Good, so you know this part. Inhale to half lift. Exhale, find your plank. Inhale, lower the knees. If you wanna keep the knees lifted, you can. Exhale, slowly lower down, shoulders forward, elbows in. Good. Inhale, halfway up, or all the way up, straightening the arms, lift the chest, and press the shoulders down. Exhale into downward facing dog. Tucking the toes and reaching the hips up. Bring the right foot forward in between the hands. Good. Lower the back heel. Inhale, lift up the chest. Arms over your head, palms touch, gazing up. Hold it here for 3 breaths. 1, strong left leg, bending into the right knee. 2, good. Same thing with the arms, external rotation through the shoulders. 3, exhale as you bring the hands back to either side of the foot. Inhale, find your plank. Lower the knees if you need to. Exhale, gazing forward as you lower down. Good. Inhale, upward facing dog. Press the shoulders down, lift through the chest. Exhale into downward facing dog. Other side, same thing. Bring the left foot forward. So if the left foot doesn't go all the way up in between the hands, it just comes up halfway towards the mat, that's totally fine. Right from there, inhale, lift the chest. Arms over your head, palms touch. 1, bending into the left knee, so the left knee is over the left ankle. 2, pressing down through the right foot, through the outside edge of the right foot. 3, exhale as you bring the hands down to either side of the left foot. Step back into a plank. Inhale, lower the knees. Exhale as you lower down, completely emptying the lungs at the bottom. Inhale, deep breath in, upward facing dog, straighten the arms or halfway. Exhale into downward facing dog. Good. 5 breaths here. If you need to take a little bit of an extra break, you can come into child's pose. 1, will you show child's pose, just in case someone out there doesn't know? Good. It's a little bit more restful. 3, but even though it's more restful, you're still consciously inhaling and exhaling. 4, you're still focusing the mind on the breath, moving in and out through the nostrils, deep into the rib cage. 1 more breath. If you're in child's pose, making your way back into downward facing dog. And on your next inhale, walk the feet up to the top, into half lift, lengthening. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, back into the chair pose, Utkatasana. Bend the knees, lift the chest. Pull the lower belly in, tuck the tailbone under, squeeze the knees together. Exhale, Samasthiti. Good. Okay, we're gonna move on. Bring the feet hip-width distance apart. And you're gonna inhale, fold forward, catch the big toes with your crease fingers, your pointer finger and your middle finger. Wrap them around to the big toes from the inside. Look up and lengthen, deep breath in. Exhale, fold forward. So if you need to bend the knees here, you can. 1, and it's an active grip, so really grab onto your toes. 2, good. If the legs are bent, that's totally fine. If they're straight, engage through the legs, strengthen through the quads. 3, good, relaxing the neck. Allow gravity to pull the torso down towards the ground. 4, deep breathing. 5, inhale, look up and lengthen, pull the lower belly in. Exhale, Padahastasana. Now we're going to step on our hands. So we're going to stretch the wrist a little bit. So you're going to bring the hands underneath the feet, palms facing up, so that your toes are coming up towards the wrist crease. Again, bend the knees as much as you need to. Exhale, fold over the legs, relax the neck. 1, and once you're there and your knees are bent, see if there's some space to straighten the legs just a little bit, so that the sit bones are reaching up towards the ceiling, the heels are pressing down towards the floor, and you're relaxing the torso over the legs. 4, pulling in the lower belly, deep breaths. 5, inhale, look up. Exhale there, hold it on the exhale. Inhale, come up to stand, into Samasthiti. Top of the mat, feet together. You don't have to bring your arms over your head for that. You can just come straight to Samasthiti. It's more efficient. Okay. Trikonasana, triangle pose. Inhale, step the right foot back. Good. So we conveniently have a line down the center of our mat. Maybe you don't. If you do, doesn't matter. It's not a requirement. But the point that the line is useful is that in this position, we want our feet to be in the same line, right? Your right toes are going to point towards the back of your mat. So it's going to take some orienting yourself on your mat. What's the front? What's the back? What's the sides? The front is where you were doing Samasthiti, and the back is the opposite side. So your right toes are pointing towards the back of your mat, and the left toes are at a diagonal, so like 45 degrees, turning inwards towards the center of your mat. Okay. You're going to have to take a little bit of a wider stance because you got long legs, not that wide. So the space between your 2 feet is like the length of 1 leg. It's like a rough estimate. Now we're going to come into the Trikonasana posture. So inhale, arms to the side. Exhale, bring your right hand down to the right leg and slide it down until you reach your limit and hold it there. Find stillness there. 1, you have options to put the hand onto a block. 2, let's put it a little bit higher. You can keep the hand on the shin. 3, if your hand is on your shin, don't dump the weight into the leg. Hold yourself up with the strength of your legs, the strength of your core. Pull the lower belly in. 5, inhale, come up, press down through the feet. Okay, so that's a hard posture. A couple things to think about. Try to bring the torso directly over the left leg. It doesn't have to reach there, but that's the direction you're moving in. Also, you want to move the shoulders away from the ears as much as possible. Don't let this pattern happen because it's not useful in yoga. Okay, pivot your feet. That's also not useful in life. I think that's when we start to get tense, right? Our shoulders start to come up here and we start building a lot of tension here. So always try to establish and encourage the pattern of relaxing the shoulders away from the ears so that the shoulder blades, these 2 big parts of our back are engaged and they are doing the heavy lifting. You're moving the shoulder blades down the back. Okay, other side. I'll stop talking. Inhale. Well, I'm not going to stop talking. Arms out to the side. Exhale. Left hand comes down to the left leg. Slide it down till you reach your limit. Keeping the torso over the left leg. Bring your hand onto a block if you need to. 1. Rolling the shoulders away from the ears. Good. 2. Strong legs. Press down through the feet. Strong core. Pull the lower belly in. Take one more breath. Deep breath in. Good. And inhale. Come up. Now B. Trikonasana B. Pivot around, face the back of the mat. So, again, orient yourself on your mat. Right toes pointing towards the front. Left toes are in, and you can bring them in a little bit more than 45 degrees. It's going to be helpful to square the hips. So you want to square the hips in this posture so that both hips, both shoulders are pointing towards the back of your mat. So in this case, that means your right hip is going to move back and your left hip is going to move forward. So they're in one line. Okay. Left hand, a block is going to be helpful here too. Left hand is going to come to the outside of the right foot, onto a block, or all the way down onto the floor. Down to the floor takes a lot of flexibility. So use your props here. Left hand comes down. Another option is to bring it to the inside of the right foot. So that gives you a little bit more stability when it's on the inside. Eventually you want to be on the outside of the right foot. If you don't have a block, you can put the hand on the shin instead. So when you find that foundation where your hand is placed, either on the outside of the foot, inside of the foot for more stability, or onto the shin if you don't have any props. You're going to press down through the hands. Takes a couple times, it's really hard. So, find yourself again. Okay. Left hand comes down, and then the right arm reaches up to start initiating that twist in the upper part of the torso. So you want to keep your hips as squared as possible. And you're going to reach up with the right arm, reach the chest up towards the ceiling so you're twisting the spine. Find your breath. Take one more breath here. Inhale, come up slowly. And pivot around, face the front of the mat. Okay, this position's really hard. You have to take your time with it. I'm going to give you some time on the side. And really establish the foundation. So what's the foundation? The foundation are your feet. So your feet are straight and strong, okay? If you need to bend the knees, that probably means that you need a prop. So instead of bending the knees to bring your hand to the floor, lift the hand so the legs are straight so that you don't mess with your foundation. Your legs are strong. And then the other foundation here, you have 3 points of contact with the floor. It's your 2 feet, and then it's one of your hands. So in this case, it's going to be your right hand. Use that as to your advantage to establish your foundation so that the rest of the posture can open. And you can find that twist and that opening through the spine. But if you don't have the right foundation, then you won't be stable and you'll fall over and you won't even be able to get to the twisting parts. So find your feet, square the hips, left hip moving back, right hip moving forward. Bring the right hand down to the floor, outside of the left foot or inside of the left foot. Find your hand there. Okay. You're going to press down through that hand, find your center, and then when you're ready, lift the left arm up to reach the chest up towards the ceiling and find the twist. So you can either gaze out to the side or up towards the hands. So if you don't have that full twist in the spine, you might want to just look out to the side. And then take deep breaths where you're there. Once you find your foundation, you find your drishti point, something to gaze on. And then you find your breath. Take one more breath wherever you are. Deep breath. And then slowly come up with control. Press down through the feet. Exhale into Samasthiti. Top of the mat. Feet together. Good. Okay. Inhale. Bring the arms over your head. Palms touch. Exhale. Fold forward. Bring the hands to the mat and relax the neck. Inhale into half lift. Exhale, step back, find your plank. Strong plank, strong legs, pull the lower belly in, lower the knees if you need to. Inhale. Exhale, bend the elbows slowly, lowering down. Inhale, halfway up, or all the way up into upward facing dog. Press the shoulders down. Exhale into downward facing dog. Okay, now we're gonna come to seated position. So if you know how to jump through, you can jump through. For now, we'll just do the easy way. Bring your knees down to the floor. Bring your hips back down to your heels. Sit up and then just swing your legs around so that your legs are in front of you, they're straight. We're gonna come into Janu Shirshasana A. So coming into some external hip rotations. You're gonna bend the right knee, bring the right knee to your chest, and then bring the knee up. Yeah, so first close the knee joint and then bring the knee out to the side. So you're coming in, you're rotating the leg, the femur bone into the hip socket. So external hip rotation. So when the knee falls down to the floor, if it doesn't touch the floor, don't force it. You can prop it up by placing something underneath the knee just to protect that knee joint. But she doesn't need it, so I'm gonna let the knee fall down to the floor. And the inside, the bottom of the right foot is touching the inside of the left leg. Yeah, and you're gonna slide that right foot as high up as you can on the inside of the left leg. Now you're gonna orient yourself forward so that both shoulders are pointing, are squared over the left leg, yeah? So you might feel a little bit of a stretch on the right side of your torso when you do that. Strong left leg, flex the left foot, and then start walking your feet forward, keeping your hips squared over the left leg. Walk the hands forward. If you can, you reach the foot, catch the left foot. Good. We're gonna hold here for 5 breaths. 1, keep pulling in the lower belly. Good. Keep the left leg strong. 2, and you're relaxing the right hip. So the right hip is moving back and down. So you don't want to take the right hip forward with you when you fold forward. So there's the posture where we have that equal and opposite direction. We're equal and opposite energy, moving forward with the torso, engaging through the leg, but also softening and rolling back down through the right hip. Take one more breath here. Inhale, look up, pull the lower belly in, exhale there. And release the foot, straighten the right leg. Now bend the left knee, bring the left knee to the chest, close the knee joint, and then let the knee fall out to the side. Prop it up if you need to. And then square your shoulders over your right leg. So now you might feel a little bit of stretch on the left side of your torso. Strong right leg, flex the right foot, and then start to walk the hands forward, catching the right foot if you can. Or just keeping the hands on either side of the foot, of the leg, or you can grab onto the leg if you don't reach the foot. 5 breaths. 1. So as your torso reaches forward, your left hip is moving back and down. So see if you can relax those muscles around the left hip, around the lower back, so you can fold a little bit deeper. Engaging through the core will help you do this. So pulling in the lower belly to engage that front side of the body so that the hips can relax. The lower back can relax, and you can go deeper into this hip rotation. Take one more breath here. Strong right leg. Don't forget about that engagement. Flex the right foot. Inhale, look up and lengthen. Hold it on the exhale. Inhale, release the foot. And we'll take a vinyasa. Okay, so you're going to straighten the left leg. Then you're going to cross the ankles, cross the shins, so that the toes come really close to your hips. So you can even grab your feet and bring them as close as you can to your hips. Then you're going to roll over the feet. Good. Come onto the knees. Walk the hands forward. And then come into a plank. Step 1 foot back at a time. Good. Inhale, lower the knees. This part you know. Exhale, slowly lower down. Pull the lower belly in. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale into downward facing dog. Good. Okay, inhale, come down to the knees. And lower the hips back down to the feet. Good, and we're gonna stay here. Actually, because now we're gonna come into, I wanted to do some headstand prep work. It'll be really quick and you won't have to go up into the headstand if you don't feel like you're ready. But just working on the preparation for headstands is really useful for a lot of things. It's good for just any general strengthening, stabilizing posture. And it's also really good to help us to eventually be able to go up into headstands. So working on the preparation will help us to eventually go upside down someday. Let's see if it happens. Okay. So first thing, you want to measure this distance from elbow to elbow. So catch your elbows. Good. Now put your elbows down onto the floor. Good. Yeah. It's for a reason. So this distance that your elbows are in right now, don't change that. They're going to want to spread apart, but you don't want that. Keep the elbows at this distance. Now release the hands, interlace the fingers. So now you're kind of like in a triangle position with the arms, and you're going to open the palms. Yeah, so that's where the head's gonna go, so keep the palms open. Okay, now you're gonna bring the top of the head on the floor. So this part's important. You want the top of the head on the floor, not the hairline, and not the back of the head. Because if you do this, if you put pressure onto the top of the head, this feels a lot more stable in the neck than if you were to put pressure on the hairline, then you have some like resistance there, and you have some opposing energy that strains the neck. Okay. So top of the head on the floor. Okay, now right here, that could be your headstand. And you just work on that foundation and on that alignment. And another extra thing you can do is press the elbows into the floor and move the shoulders away from the ears. So what that's gonna do is that's gonna strengthen the shoulders so that the shoulders and the shoulder blades are doing the heavy lifting and you're not dumping the weight into your head. That's going to be important throughout the entire headstand. So starting to establish that pattern and those foundations here in this position is going to help you in the long run forever. Yeah? So you don't dump all this weight into your neck and then you hurt the neck. I've had a lot of neck strains from not properly establishing the right foundation. So that's really important. Elbows down into the floor. And as you press the elbows down into the floor, that sends like a trigger reaction that happens down into the shoulders. Elbows go down, shoulders go down. Yeah? Okay. If that doesn't make sense, let me know.
No, it does.
Yeah? Okay, good. And the shoulders lift and move away from the ears. If that feels really good, if you're like exhausted at this point, you can take a break and come back into this position. But if you feel good, you can come into the next part, which is you tuck the toes and you lift the knees. So now you're coming into like a downward dog position. Yeah? Where you start to walk the feet closer to the head. You can take a break. It is a lot. It's a lot.
Sit there.
Yeah, and you're upside down for a while. I'm like, can't stop talking. Okay. Try it again. You ready? So come back into your position. Measure the distance in your elbows. Good. Top of the head on the floor. So you're kind of like hugging the back of your head with your hands. Okay, tuck the toes. Reach the hips up and start walking the feet towards you. Yeah, good. Elbows down, shoulders away from the ears. Start walking the feet a little bit closer. Good, good. This is the work of headstand. The work of headstand is going to one day give you a headstand. You can't skip the work. Okay, try it again.
You're trying to kill me.
No. It's super exciting when you can finally get upside down. Okay, walk the feet. So now what we're doing by walking the feet closer, okay, you can take a break. Let me do something really quick. So what you're doing when you, okay, I'll go this way. What you're doing by walking the feet closer to you is you're trying to get the hips over the shoulders. So if you think about it, when your hips are over your shoulders, that's half of headstand, right? So you're here, top of the head, press the elbows down, shoulders away from the ears, and you walk, walk, walk. Hips over the shoulders. Now, I totally understand that I'm able to do this because I have really open hamstrings. So you might be here, which is fine. Keep walking the feet. But the important part is that you're pressing the elbows down and moving the shoulders away from the ears. Yeah? So once you feel really stable here, you can start to bring one foot to the hip, and then maybe one foot, and then you just work from there. Yeah? Eventually, you're here, and then eventually you're here. And then you breathe. Yeah, but take a step at a time. If you can make it to this point, either the knees are bent or the knees are straight, either way, start tucking the foot. Maybe one foot at a time. Yeah? You want to try one more time?
Yes.
Try one more time. step by step. So first establish your foundation. Top of the head on the floor. Press the elbows down, shoulders away from the ears. Tuck the toes and start walking the feet in. You can keep the knees bent if you need to. Good, yeah, good, good. Bend the knees more if you need to get the feet closer. Good, yes. Good, okay, that was awesome. Maybe next time you feel more comfortable there and you start to bring the feet up. Maybe not next time, maybe next year, doesn't matter. What matters is that you're putting in the work and you're consciously breathing through the work. Yeah? Bringing yourself back to the present. Okay, let's close off this practice. So, you can take a vinyasa if you'd like. If you're like, I'm not taking a vinyasa, that's totally fine, I understand. Take a vinyasa. Do you want to take a vinyasa?
No.
No? Okay. Alright, so find a comfortable seated position when you're done with your headstand work and you're done with your vinyasas. We're going to wrap the arms around the back, grab onto opposite elbows, take a deep breath in. Exhale, fold forward and bring the head towards the mat. If it doesn't quite reach the mat, that's fine. If you're close, you can put something underneath the head so you can kind of relax the neck. Needs to be closer. Okay. 1, take 5 deep breaths here. 2, steady breathing. 3, 4, 5, 6, inhale, slowly come up. And release the arms, bring the wrist towards the knees, the pointer towards the thumb. You want your arms to be straight, spine is long. Drop the shoulders away from the ears and tuck the chin towards the chest. Your gazing point is the tip of the nose. 1. We'll take 10 long, steady breaths here. 2, following the breath all the way through the inhale and all the way through the exhale. 3, a distinct awareness of when you're inhaling and when you're exhaling. 5, 6, 7, following the breath, keeping the focus on the breath. 8, 9, 10, and release that. Uputihi, bring the knees as close as you can to the chest. Keep the shins crossed. Now we're gonna lift up for the final effort. Bring the hands in front of the hips, so it's somewhere on the midline of the thigh. You're gonna shift the weight forward, so the weight comes into the hands, the shoulders come forward, and you're gonna press into the hands, press into the shoulders, and lift the hips. 1, shoulders are forward, hips are back. 2, gazing somewhere in front of you. 3, deep breaths, don't stop breathing. 5, if you want to try lifting the feet for more of a challenge. 6, good, don't come down. 7, deep breaths, lift the hips. 8, 9, breathe. 10, exhale, come down. Good. So we want to change our reaction of holding your breath when things get hard to breathing when things get hard. So sorry if I'm like kind of annoying when I'm like breathe, breathe, breathe. But it's just I'm trying to like repattern that reaction that most of us have. You know, things get hard when we hold our breath. And that's not useful for our system. Our system needs to breathe, especially when things get hard, so that we can tap back into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the relaxation response, which is the opposite of fight or flight. It's the part of our nervous system that's calm, That's when it's helpful with digestion. It's when we can make more conscious decisions instead of decisions that are based on survival mode. Yeah? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So I will let you go into Shavasana and I'll stop talking. You can take a vinyasa if you want, or you can just come straight to lying on your back for Shavasana, the final resting pose. Good. Should I take a vinyasa? It's up to you. If you feel like you need some extra juice, you need to let out some extra juice, take a vinyasa. If you're ready for your final resting pose, you can come to lying on your back. Good. Lie down on your back. The feet can be apart, the palms can be facing up. Then close the eyes. We'll just be here for a moment. So you're not controlling the breath anymore, let the breath be natural. Just observing the breath, the spontaneous breath moving in and out through the nostrils. Observe that. Let the breath be as it is in this moment. Relaxing the whole body. So again, feeling, coming back to the sense of grounding. Feel the ground supporting the weight of the body so that you can completely relax. The ground is there to hold you. So feel that support, feel that sense of grounding as the weight of the body moves down to the ground, and the ground responds by supporting you. If you have some extra time and you want to stay here a little bit longer, you can. If you're ready to come out of it, you can start to deepen the breath. And slowly start to wake up the body, moving the fingers, the toes. You rock the head side to side. Take a deep breath in. And slowly exhale. Bring the knees into the chest. And come over to the right side of the body. Take your time. Whenever you're ready, you can make your way back up to seated. Take your time. Join you here on the mat. Bring your hands to the knees and close the eyes. Just take one final moment here. to settle into the body, settle into the breath, and observe the residue of the practice in the body and in the mind. Maybe comparing it to what you found when you took a look inside from the beginning of the practice. Maybe it's the same, maybe there's a subtle shift, maybe there's an obvious shift. And settling here, settling into the quiet space before you go off and start doing the rest of your daily activities. Just take a moment here. Bring your palms to heart center. We'll close with an Om together. Inhale through the nose. Namaste. Thank you. Thanks for joining me virtually. Thank you for joining me in real life. Hopefully soon we'll be able to more of us join each other in real life. But until now, I'm super happy we have this channel to connect virtually. And I hope you enjoyed that class. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me through Instagram, or if you have a way of contacting me, please reach out, ask me any questions you have about the practice, about anything we did today. If there's anything you want me to break down further, let me know. I also have some other classes through Zoom with Miami Life Center. So this is a good opportunity for me to be able to see you and give you specific instructions. We have a special right now, 30 days for $30. I am teaching Ashtanga for beginners through that platform, as well as Ashtanga Half Primary, which is a little bit more advanced. So if you're interested, you can reach out to me and I'll get you set up for those classes, or I have all of that information, all those links in my bio. And if you want to give me a donation for this class, it's totally optional, but you can send me donations. I left some of my Venmo, my PayPal details in the description of this class. So you really don't need to, but if you want to and you have the means, then I would really appreciate it. And I think that's it. Do you have anything else you want to say?
No.
Yeah? Okay. Thank you. Have a good day. That's it. Bye.